welcome back to the breakdown. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to start a SevTech server so you can play SevTech modded Minecraft with your friends. SevTech is a mod pack actually built to be able to be played on servers, so we're not going to have any issues with that, and it's actually really easy to do in terms of mod pack servers go, so let's go ahead and get on into it. But first I do want to say this isn't a server that's going to be up all the time. It's only going to be up when it's running on your computer, and it's going to take quite a bit of resources to run it, guys. At least 6 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to the server, and at least 6 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to SevTech for everything to run smoothly and properly. So you're looking at least 12 gigabytes of RAM to be able to run this thing, so 16 gigabytes total in your system will be needed. You're also going to need a pretty hefty CPU, and if you don't have that sort of stuff, no worries. You can check out game servers at the first link down below, the breakdown.xyz/MC server, to get an awesome 24-hour DDoS protected Minecraft server that can run SevTech on it, and it'll keep it off of your computer. And let's say your friends want to play in the middle of the night, but you want to go ahead and go to bed, well then guess what? You can do that because game servers will be up all the time, even when your computer is off. Again, you can check that out at the first link down below, the breakdown.xyz/MC server. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and jump on into this. So, first thing we need to do is go to the second link down below, which will take you here where you want to scroll down here on the left hand or right hand side, right over here. Come down here and you should see Minecraft 1.12.2 server packs. Under that, you should see a download right here. Click on the download button right next to it. It's now going to download this in the bottom left. Now, we also need to install SevTech to do this, and to do that, you need to come over here to the third link down below, which is the Twitch app, and then click on the big download button in the center of the screen there. It will then download the Twitch app in the bottom left as well. I'm going to let these download, and I'll see you guys here in a second. Alright, there we go. Both of these are now downloaded in the bottom left. Down here, as you can see, we have the Twitch app and the SevTech server. If we minimize our browser there, we should have both of these right here, right? SevTech and the Twitch app. Now, if you don't, hit the Windows key on your keyboard and R at the exact same time. Type in downloads exactly like that. Hit enter, and they'll be here in your downloads folder. You can drag them to your desktop just for ease of use. Nevertheless, once you're here, you want to go ahead and right-click on the SevTech Ages folder. You want to extract all, and then click extract. It's then going to give you a folder up here in the top left, and it's going to go ahead and download, and not download, but just move everything, because this is a pretty big server, guys. So let's go ahead and while it's doing that, install the Twitch app. Doing that's pretty simple. Double click on it and it will walk you through installing it just like any other program. As you can see, click install, boom, boom, boom. For me, it's just going to then open because I've already got the Twitch app installed. If you don't have the Twitch app already installed, it will eventually go through and install, and then you have to log into the Twitch app. Just do this using your standard Twitch profile. If you don't have one, create one. It's completely free. All you need is an email address. So once you've got that done, we want to come over here to mods, right? And then we want to click on Minecraft. Then we want to click install. And it's going to go through and install some things and do some things that we need there. And then it's going to go to this. Now, by this point, your server should have been finished transferring over, right? So go ahead and double click on this file up here. And then check what Forge version this is right here. As you can see, it's 2707. Awesome. So go ahead, minimize that. And then come back over to here where we then want to click on Browse All Mod Packs. Then find SevTech Ages. It's right here front and center for us. And then you want to click on Install up here. Now, if you've downloaded the most recent version of the server and the most recent version of SevTech, these will work together without any problems. Now, as you can see, it says 2707, installing Forge 2707, so we know it's the same. I'm going to show you how to check that once SevTech's installed as well, but if you've already got SevTech installed, I would recommend updating it to the newest Forge version. If you don't, you're going to have all sorts of issues. As a matter of fact, it's probably best just to create a new profile, right, for your server that's on the same version as your server, because otherwise you will run into issues. Nevertheless, while SevTech is downloading over here, we can just drag this over to the side and open up our SevTech folder here. Now we want to just go ahead and click on the install right here, .bat, right? See that? Install. Double click on that and it's going to go ahead and run through some things and do some stuff, and then eventually it'll just stop. Right, it's pretty simple stuff, nothing you have to worry about, but we're just waiting at this point. So I'm going to wait for this over here to finish and for this over here to finish. And when it's done, I will be back to you guys. There we go. It has now finished the install here. Now we want to come up here to the other .bat file we have right here, which is called Start Server. Go ahead and double click on Start Server, and then it's going to go ahead and start the SevTech Ages server. Now, eventually it's going to fail, and it's going to say, done, can't do that, whatever. There we go. As you can see, it just closed out. Why did it do that? Well, we need to agree to the EULA. So we come down here to the EULA right there. But by the way, we had to run that to get the EULA. So right there is the EULA. Double click on it. Go to this link here right in your browser. If you're going to agree that if your server is not going to break the EULA, you can come back here and change EULA equals false to EULA equals true. TRUE, exactly like that. Then click File, Save. Then go ahead and open up your server again with the Start Server bat file right here. Now, it's not going to close out. It's going to actually run. At the same time, as you can see, SevTech Ages has finished downloading. Go ahead and click play there. You might have to log into your Mojang account, and it might do some updating and downloading like this. And if it does, no worries. Just go ahead and log into your normal Minecraft account, the same one that you would use to log in right over here to Minecraft.net, right? So as you can see, same one here, Minecraft.net. But if we come back over to here, as you can see, I need to enter my email and my password and then click log in, right like so. And now we should be able to click the arrow here and have SevTech Ages. If you don't have this, what do? Well, close out of this, right? Just close out of the Minecraft launcher, then click play again, back over here in Twitch. That will typically fix you not having SevTech. And as you can see, it's selected by default there. But if you don't have it and you have the arrow, you're going to have it right here. And if we click on this arrow, we can see this is for Forge version 7.27.07. And that matches right over here 2707, right? See that? So that all works. We are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and launch into SevTech. Our server, this entire time, has been starting over here, by the way. That's how long this stuff takes. And guys, that's what you're going to see time and time and time and time and time again here. This stuff takes forever. Okay, starting a SevTech server literally can take 10 to 15 minutes. Launching into SevTech for the first time can take 5 to 10 minutes. None of it's fast. None of it's going to move quickly, but it will move. So over here, we've actually seen, it looks like it's frozen, right? It looks like the server's not doing anything. That's not the case. It'll eventually move. So just wait until eventually it will be done, and I'll show you what to look for when this is done over here. But at this point, I'm just rambling. I'm just talking. I will let you guys do a jump cut to when SevTech is opening, and maybe the server will be finished. So there we go, the Minecraft launcher closed out, and SevTech is now opening, as you are seeing on the screen. That is, again, going to take about 5 minutes, so we're just going to sit here and wait. And even through that jump cut, our server is still opening. It's still doing stuff. It's still running. That's how long this stuff can take, guys. But I'm going to let both of these just continue to open. And then when the next one finishes, either SevTech will open up to the main menu or this over here, the server will be running. I will see you guys again. All right, so our server is actually done opening. How do we know that? Well, it says unloaded dimension 1, unloading dimension 50, and then it's done, right? That's what you'll see when it's done. Now, what is this over here where it's saying it can't keep up? That means our server doesn't have enough RAM. I'm going to show you guys how to add more RAM to it here a little bit later on, but first we have to get SevTech open here. So I'm going to let that finish, and once it's done, we're going to test to make sure the server is in fact running and everything's good to go and that we can join it locally. Then we'll add more RAM to the server, more RAM to SevTech, and then make sure we can have our friends join the server and things like that. And I'll show you how to do that. But first, we've got to get SevTech open here. So it's another waiting game. I'll see you guys once it's finished. So while SevTech is opening here, it's actually done it right now. It will occasionally just freeze up like that and then unfreeze. So if SevTech's opening and it looks like it's frozen, just wait. Give it a second, because most likely it's just going to unfreeze itself and you'll be good to go. But that is something you want to look out for, and I did want to mention it here. As right there, boom, as you can see, it kind of froze for a second. That's going to happen, so just be prepared for that. Be okay with it as SevTech is opening. So no worries there, just wanted to give you guys a little heads up, as that's something you can and do need to look out for. Eventually, SevTech will finally open, and we can test to see if your server is up. To do this, all we need to do is hit the Windows icon in the top left of my screen, probably in the bottom left of your screen. It'll open up this right here where we then want to type in CMD. On the CMD right here, we want to right click and then click Run as Administrator. And then in this, we want to type IPCONFIG. IPconfig, exactly like that. Now we want to find our IPv4 address here. Come over here to multiplayer, click Direct Connect, and then type your IPv4 address from over here into the Direct Connect box. In my case, that's 192.168.1.123. Now yours might be different than that, and if it is, no worries. Just copy it over here, exactly like you see it. Over here, over into this. Click Join Server, and it will launch on into the server, and that's going to be proven because we're actually going to see my username pop up over here. Boom, a bunch of stuff happens, right? And when you see all that stuff happen, that means someone's joining your server. It's creating them all the stuff that they need in order to join the server and become a part of it. As you can see, it finally says syncing data for next games. I get a welcome notice here to tell me how to play and all that stuff. And then, boom, we are now in the game, and SevTech is installed, which is great. You can actually go ahead and opt yourself as well. If you can see, if you opt yourself, this is what's really interesting. As soon as I hit enter over here, I suddenly can change to creative and do all that stuff. If you're not opt, right, if you're not modded, you can't do any of that stuff, which is really cool for other people on your server here. But nonetheless, here we are in SevTech, and the server's up and running. That's just kind of our quick test, though. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect here. I'm not going to be doing anything else. I'm not going to be closing out of SevTech just so we don't have to wait for a very long time for it to open. You don't need to add more RAM to it. Sometimes you do. And if you want to do that, it's actually very simple. All you need to do is come back over here into the Minecraft launcher, right? The second time I've done that. Come back over here into the Minecraft launcher, click right up here, go to Launch Options, go to your SevTech profile, and then change this to add however much RAM you want. Let's say you wanted 6 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to it. Click 6 there and click Save. Then you can just come back over here and click Play, and it'll launch into it with that much RAM. However, currently it's running off of 3 megabytes of RAM, or sorry, 3 gigabytes of RAM, 3,000 megabytes of RAM. So we're just going to leave it up and running here. I'm not going to make the window bigger in order to make sure, we don't have any issues there with the RAM being overwhelmed. But I'm going to minimize that for now. We can also go ahead and minimize the Twitch app. And we're just going to be focusing everything else on this folder and these 2 windows. Now, unfortunately, I am going to stop the server. And I say unfortunately because that's a lot more waiting. But as you can see, stops the server. Just type stop right in there and hit enter. And the server's now stopped. Next thing we want to do is come over to the server properties over here, double click on it, and it should open in Notepad. If it doesn't, just select Notepad to open it with. You then want to scroll down to where you see server IP here, copy your IPv4 address from over here into where it says server IP. So in my case, 192.168.1.123. Exactly like that, copied over. Great stuff. Now go ahead and click File, Save on Notepad here, close out of that, and close out of this. Now we need to go ahead and take our default gateway over here and type that into our browser. So in my case, that's going to be in a new tab right up here where you would normally type like our website, thebreakdown.xyz. You're instead going to type your default gateway, which again in my case is 192.168.1.1. and hit enter. Now, you're most likely going to get something completely different from what you see on your screen right now. If that's the case, that's okay, guys, because it's going to be a login box, and that's something we're all going to have in common. But what do you enter into that login box? Well, we have a resource for you linked down below. This right here, and this is going to show you how to find your router password, right? Method 1, 2, 3, go down through all of these methods, and then eventually you'll have your router password, even if it means contacting your ISP. Once you've got your router's password and used either the default info or someone in your house already knew it, come back over here, enter it, and then click sign in. Once you're logged into your router, it's going to look something completely different or exactly the same as this, but most likely completely different, and that's okay. What we're looking for here is port forwarding. Now for you, it might be apps and gaming. It might be virtual servers. It might be an advanced. It might be an advanced. It might be an administration. It might be an admin advanced. Doesn't matter where it's at. Just look around, click around your router. You can click on any of this stuff, guys, and it's not going to matter whatsoever because if you just don't save changes, you're good. Nothing happened. What on my router you're going to do is go into security, and then you're going to go into apps and gaming, and then you're going to click on single port forward, right? That's what you're going to be looking for. Port forwarding. Now, for you, it might be an admin and then advanced. I know that's what it is on most Netgear routers. Some routers put it out front and center, port forwarding. Great. Whatever you're looking for here, you're looking for port forwarding. Now, we want to add a new port forward. You can title it whatever you want. For your ports, whatever they are, external, internal, port 1, port 2, doesn't matter. Whatever it says for ports, put 25565. Then, again, for the same port, 25565. Doesn't matter what it says for port, put 25565 in there, no matter what. For your protocol, doesn't matter what they call it on your router, what you're looking to do here is both, or TCP/UDP, or TCP and UDP. Whatever it says, there should be an option to do both of them in some way, and that's what you want to do. Now, for your device IP or your internal IP, whatever it says for IP, doesn't matter. What you want to put is your IPv4 address, which for me, if we come back over here, we can see was 192.168.1.123. So as you can see, they've already got that filled in. So we want to do .1.123 and then click Save. Now we can go ahead and click Apply and then click OK. Now, the hard part of all of this is actually done. The port forward. It's over. It's done. Now all we need to do is join our router. But if you do have any issues port forwarding, we have an article for that. And I have to go to it because I'm a little bit unprepared for this one, but it is going to be linked down below. And it's going to show you exactly how to port forward, walk you through every step a lot slower than what I just did here. And you can go through this at your own pace, but that is linked down below if you need to get some more information on how to port forward. But nevertheless, once you're done port forwarding, we want to go to, again, I think the 5th link down below. I'm losing track, guys, but it is linked down below, and it's going to take you here, which is whatsmyip.com. Now, as you can see on your screen right now, it's just some black boxes. You can see 2 numbers, .97, but the rest of it, it's blocked out. Also, over here, as I was talking about in the beginning of this video, you don't want to give this to anybody. This server is just for your friends and family, and the reason for that is because they can get tons of information from your IP address, down to your latitude and longitude coordinates, guys, so you want to be careful here, and that is shown by whatsmyip.com, and that's why there's a black box over there for you. Nevertheless, we want to go ahead and take our public IP address here, copy it, and then we can go back over into SevTech and connect to this. However, our server's not running. The reason our server's not running is because I wanted to show you guys how to add more RAM to your server. Doing this is actually pretty easy. All you want to do is come up here to where it says Settings. It's a Windows batch file. Right click on it and click Edit. In here, you're going to see all sorts of stuff, right? It's a lot of overwhelming things, but all we're looking for here is min RAM and max RAM, right? So we can change our minimum RAM, which is the least amount of RAM the server can use, and our maximum RAM, which is the most amount of RAM that our server can use. So in this case, our minimum RAM is going to be, let's just do 4 gigabytes of minimum RAM. And then with our maximum RAM, let's move that up to, I don't know, 8 gigabytes, right? That should give it enough to be able to run. As you get more players on your server, you're going to want to add more RAM. This would be sufficient for probably 5 players on your server. So let's go ahead and click File, Save there. Now we can start our server by just double clicking on Server Start yet again. Now it's going to go through and start the server, and it's going to be quite a long process yet again. So I am going to go ahead and sit back, relax, and wait for this to finish. Once it does, your friends will be able to join this server, and you'll have officially set up a SevTech server. I will see you guys in a few minutes after the jump cut. And just like that, our server is now set up. As you can see, as I told you, when it says unloading dimension here, you are good. Your server is running. Now, it's actually still finishing a few, but in that meantime, we can jump over here, and I'll show you what happens when you try to join your server while it's still loading. It'll kick you out, basically, right? So if it's still loading, it'll kick us out. If it's not, it won't, and it looks like it's not. So I'm going to actually cancel that, and we're going to join this using our public IP address. Now, again, we found that via the link. It didn't cancel it out. There we go. We can find that via the link in the description down below. Takes you to whatsmyip.com, where you just want to copy this. This is the IP address you're going to be giving to your friends. Now, if for whatever reason you can't join off of this IP address, I'm going to go ahead and direct connect using it, but if for whatever reason you can't join off of this IP address, most likely a firewall or a antivirus or something like that is blocking the connection. Also, there could be an issue with your port forward, so that's where you're going to want to look first. But as you can see, we loaded right in here, meaning our port forward is correct, as well as that firewalls aren't blocking any connections or anything like that. SevTech is now up and running in Minecraft 1.13 on the server that we just made. There you guys have it. It's that simple. If you have any issues, have any questions, post them in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to help you out. If this video did help you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does mean the world to us, and thank you very, very much for doing that in advance. I'm in a hole now. My name is Nick. This has been The Breakdown Tech, and I'm out, guys. Peace.